Hey, it's Caleb Crouch here at Elusive Disc. I've got Jeremy Bonfiglio here from BCW. He's going to share some information with us and teach us a little bit more about the company. I guess we can start out with what is BCW?
Yeah, so BCW Supplies, we're a hobby company based here in Indiana, in Middletown, just outside of Anderson and Muncie, so right here in the region, right down the street from you. Yeah, we're a family-owned company, also like Elusive Disc. So we've been around for about 40 years. Most people recognize the brand from our comic supplies or baseball card and Pokemon cards, which is the categories we've really strive for. In fact, little known fact, BCW actually originally stood for Baseball Card World, so that's where the name comes from. I am the music category manager for BCW Supplies, so I wear many hats and am in charge of the music category, and that's includes, vinyl record products, sleeves, inners and outers, as well as, our boxes and all the things you need for storage and protecting your collection.
Yep.
Yeah.
Since you're working with music at BCW, do you have maybe a favorite genre, favorite song?
Yeah, well, I was born in '70. I grew up in the '80s, so I'm definitely an '80s kid. There's New Wave was a big influence on me. My favorite artist is Elvis Costello. I've seen him more times than I can count now. I lost track, around 40 concerts now. So yeah, so it's I try to see him every year. So yeah, he's been a favorite of mine. And then I kind of grew up collecting records and just really never stopped. Like all of us, I kind of went through the CD phase there in the '90s, and but I never, like a lot of people, I didn't get rid of my collection, so I've always had it and just continued to add to it. And I started doing record shows as a vendor about 10 years ago now, and now in addition to my role at BCW, I run 4 record shows, 2 here in Indiana, the South Bend Record Show and the Bloomington Music Expo. So I'm around vinyl pretty much in both my hobby business and my day job. So
I couldn't imagine running that many shows. I only go to the one every year at Expona in Chicago, and that already kicks my butt whenever I go to those.
For sure, yeah.
And clearly it was wise for you to hold on to your collection, since it's clearly making its comeback now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm sure you guys have seen this too, particularly over the past decade, just seeing a resurgence in the medium. I think, a lot of people your age and younger who didn't even grow up with physical media are discovering it now for the first time, and discover it's, that more of an active listening experience. I also see a lot of young people who just love supporting the artists, and kind of use that as a way to support artists by buying their music directly, as opposed to just listening on Spotify. Even if they're only using it as a collectible and they may not put it on a turntable, they see it as a way, well, here's how I can contribute to my favorite artist. They may still listen to it streaming, but also they want to kind of own something that can directly help their favorite artist.
Sort of like a souvenir from their artist. Yeah, and I mean, as long as they get the album in their collection, hopefully eventually they decide to actually give it a try and listen to it, because that's the entrance. And I'm in support of anybody my age hopefully getting into this industry too, because I mean, I didn't believe it before, but after working here for so long, I now realize that it's better on vinyl.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people are discovering that, and I think that's why you've seen such a resurgence, and that's why all the major record studios and labels are putting out not only, new releases, but their back catalog on vinyl again.
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure you guys see that here in the shop.
Quite a bit, yeah, and especially because whenever they do redo the album, they remix it or they reissue it and make it sound better than it used to and stuff, and they add a lot of value stuff.
For sure, and it really becomes that kind of keepsake, and as I said before, just an active listening experience. You get that moment where you're holding on to the record jacket, or you're looking at the liner notes or the inserts, and while you're listening to it, and it becomes a whole experience as opposed to having it on the background while you're like doing 12 other things. So,
absolutely. Yeah. I suppose we can move on to since you do so much with the music related products at BCW. Are there any that maybe you want to highlight or pinpoint, especially ones that you've had a major hand in? Yeah,
so just to give you a little background, so I was kind of the guinea pig of a new position there at BCW. So before, they didn't really have specific category managers, and I was the first one they hired just over 3 years ago now. And what they were really looking for was someone who was an expert in the field, who could kind of help guide that particular category into a knowledgeable direction of what both consumers and people in the hobby had been calling for. And so I was able to come on board right away. The first thing I did was just kind of a price comparison. I looked at all our products, see where we were falling short, where prices could be adjusted, and then also what we had in the category and what we were really missing. I think when I started, we had a great basic line of products, but there were a lot of things that I think were missing in the category that in these past 3 years we've really been able to grow and expand. I think we've almost doubled our offerings in the music category since then. So there's been a lot of products that I've been involved in. And yeah, there are a couple I want to highlight. Probably one of the things that we didn't have that I really wanted us to have was our just a standard traditional 3 mil polyethylene sleeve. This is kind of the traditional sleeve that a lot of record stores, a lot of record vendors tend to use. It's just, it's kind of known for being not quite as crystal clear as our other sleeves, but it has the ability to stretch a little more, and it's really known for its durability. So bringing this back into the category is something they hadn't had for a long time. I was really proud about that, and this has been a really good seller for us. So that was something I was really excited about. And then speaking of our other sleeves, we also offer a 2 and a 4 mil in a polypropylene sleeves. And this is the crystal clear sleeve that everybody, kind of knows us for. And probably, one of the real impact points I think that I've had with these particular sleeves is just the improvement on them. So these sleeves are a little more rigid than the polyethylene sleeve, which meant the way they were being made at the time meant that each edge had an individual seal, which when enough pressure was applied, or because it was so rigid, could split. So we noticed that in our quality control, just anecdotally from customers, from stores. And so we really went out to look for a solution for that. And what we came up with was we invested in new equipment and just how we produce these sleeves. So what we originally had were the two sides here were those seams. And, we had the opening on top, and then the bottom was folded plastic. So the new equipment we made it one seam at the bottom. And then these two sides are folded plastic. So that means it takes a lot of force. See, this one I can't even get to be able to break that. So because it's folded plastic, so you can see how crinkled that is. So that has really expanded and improved that product, and that's something I'm I'm really proud of. So.
And that was the 4 mil that you were.
That was the
doing
4 mil, and the same with the 2 mil. We did both the 2 and the 4. So that's something. We've had a lot of great feedback from people. Who had previously said, yeah, there's, if I have it in my shop for too long and people are flipping through the bins, sometimes they'll have a tendency to keep pulling them in and out rough. Sometimes they'll split. So now we don't have that problem. And that was, credit to BCW and the leadership who, after I brought the problem up and said, this is something we really need to improve and solve, that they put the time and investment in to be able to do that. So that was something I was really proud of. And then just one more product I really love, and I think a lot of people know these and refer to these as the rice paper inner sleeves. We have our version, the audiophile inners, and this is a really great inner sleeve, a really great product. It has that 3-ply plastic with the acid-free polypropylene and the paper insert for support. And this has been a really good seller for us as well. Something I really thought we needed in the category. And then it's priced really competitively to some of the other companies who are making this. And so I think that's been a real hit for us as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely it's important for people to upgrade the sleeves that they get initially, especially like the real crappy paper ones that, scratch up your vinyl and stuff.
Absolutely, yeah. There's a lot, in the paper inserts that, especially in vintage records, they'll get that yellowing, and after some time you see, some paper dust can get on your record, and you want to avoid that. So even if you love paper sleeves, we do offer a line of paper sleeves, still upgrade your sleeve. Yes. We offer a really high quality dense paper sleeves as well. And we also offer paper sleeves that are polylined, so if you do want the extra layer of protection in there, but you like the stability of a paper sleeve, we offer those as well.
Yeah, I would always recommend going polylined if you can.
yeah, I agree. My favorite sleeves that we offer are the anti-static, which I showed in our audiophile, and then our anti-static, which is kind of a one kind of step below that. Instead of the 3-ply, it's just a 2-ply polypropylene plastic, which is really built to fight and combat static electricity, which we know in the winter months can be killer here in Indiana.
It's pretty bad.
So so we definitely want to fight that. Just so you don't have all those clicks and pops when you're playing your records.
Yeah, no, I'll tell you, it annoys me, especially because some of the tables, they've got those carpeted platter mats, and the number of times that a crappy sleeve, you put it down there and it's already picked up all that static, and so you pick up the carpet with it every time that you pick the vinyl up.
Absolutely. Yeah, you could just see it cling, it just jumps right off. Yeah, for sure.
So I guess I'll also ask, are there any products that BCW might be working on currently that you might be able to share about?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing we've definitely noticed is that not only with vinyl, but we've also seen kind of a resurgence in both cassettes and CDs.
Yes.
So last summer we released replacement CD jewel cases and cassette cases, and those have sold really well. And so shortly we are releasing a CD box and a cassette box, like our LP and 45 boxes. Okay. So this will be, that great white corrugated cardboard that people who know us know of those. That the BCW logo on the white boxes, they'll recognize those. And so you'll see that with a CD and a cassette box. The CD box is going to hold 100 CDs. The cassette box is going to hold 60. And what I love about them is they're also stackable with each other. So if you have a collection that you may not have a way to display it, but you want to hold on to it, they'll slide into a calyx shelf, or you can put it in a closet if you just want to store it away but hold on to them as a memento. Or if you're a store, it's a quick, easy way to display. You just take the lid off and be able to display CDs and cassettes that way,
right,
or even use it for storage and backstock. So I think it's gonna be a good product for us. I think both of them were needed, and yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. That is going to be released later this month or early July. So we've had prototypes. We've put the purchase order in, and that's also made right here in Indiana. So
I guess we'll save the best question for last.
Yeah.
So since there's a lot of vinyl sleeves on the market, especially in the audiophile industry, how do your sleeves stack up against them?
Yeah, I would put our sleeves up against anybody. I think in both quality and our price point, I don't think we can be beat. I really don't. I think there are sleeves out there and companies out there who, from a quality standpoint, are just as good as our sleeves, but we're almost always less expensive. So I think pound for pound, we're definitely a brand and a company to be reckoned with. And even though we may not be the household name in some parts of the country as we are here in the Midwest, I think when we're talking to stores or talking to customers, we don't have to do a hard sell. We'll just be, in all honesty, say, here's take a pack of sleeves, compare it to what you're currently using, compare the quality, and if all things being equal, then compare the price point. Usually we can save a store money by going to us instead of their current brand. We see a lot of stores and customers be really surprised at that, and because they'll have been using a brand for a long time. But I think in today's economy, everyone's, especially small businesses, are looking for ways to save money, and so I think we're very conscious of that, and we keep an eye on industry trends and what's happening there, and being able to tell a store, hey, our job is to help your business, give you quality product, not only to sell in store, but also to use on your products, to be able to have a sleeve that you're confident that you can put your used stuff in and it's going to look good in your bins is important to us. And I think that translates pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, I've met several people that have made the switch to you guys at audio shows and stuff, because I'll show them the sleeves, I'll show them, how great they look, I'll even, give them, some of the demo stuff every now and then to kind of compare and contrast, but most of them, with the price point and the quality, it's not a hard decision. And it's kind of surprising too, because normally you don't get that from a family-owned business. Normally that's like what you get from corporate-owned businesses that lower the prices. But it's one of those things that, especially nowadays, price is sort of everything. At least until everything goes down. It
is, and we're, like I say, we're conscious of that, and I think it's partially because we are a family-owned business. The ownership and the leadership, they know how hard it is to run a business, and to be successful at it. And we want to give other people that same opportunity, and we know cost is a factor and quality of products is a factor. And there's plenty of companies that you could always make your product have a lesser quality at a lower price point, or have raise your price point with a really high quality product. But I think few companies are willing to sacrifice a little bit of profit and offer the highest quality product they can. And that's one of the things that drew me to BCW and keeps me here.
Well, that's awesome. I'm glad that you were able to share all this with us today. I'm glad that you were able to kind of hopefully let some people out there know a little bit more about you guys. I do hope that your guys' business continues to just get bigger and bigger and grow cross country.
Yeah, we really do. We have a presence, and we've been sponsoring some of the big national record shows, and we're going to continue to do that. So from coast to coast, and we are in record shops and pressing plants all across the country. And so we just continue to grow, and we have a really strong presence on our website, which is bcwsupplies.com. We own our own Amazon store, so people can always, if they're curious, check us out there. And you can find us at record shops all over the country.
Well, I hope that working with music in your guys' industry, that it brings you a lot of joy like it does me.
Absolutely.
Continues to.
Yeah.
And thanks for sharing with us today.
All right. Thanks, Caleb. Appreciate it.